rising featherweight contender Nick Bull is quickly becoming a fan favorite in the UK. And there's a lot to like. He is a dynamic fighter, and you wouldn't normally get that with a guy of his stature. Nick Bull is only 5'5", the exact same height, incidentally, as Kiko Martinez, and that is somebody that Nick Bull is keen on fighting. Normally, when you get a guy who's short like this, they will be a pressure fighter like Martinez. But Nick Bull has more wrinkles to his game than that. He fights on the back foot, and he tends to be an episodic ambush fighter rather than just be an all-out attack. So he'll move around the ring, he'll use his legs, and he's got quick hands and quick feet, and he'll find an opportunity to catch his opponent reaching, then he'll jump in or catch him with a counter or beat him to a punch, and that's when he really starts laying into him with very fast combinations. And there's a lot of power there as well, at least at a certain level. He's got 10 knockouts out of 17 fights so far on a perfect record. The first time I watched him was on the Fury White undercard, where he absolutely decimated Isaac Lowe. Some of you guys may remember that fight. Very entertaining performance, took Lowe out. He then won a fight in the 12th round. That was for the WBC silver featherweight title against Nakalolo. I think you pronounced that name, Nathaniel Nakalolo. And then last time out, he scored a first-round TKO over Jesus Ramirez Rubio at the York Hall Bethnal Green. And since then, he has gone on to do some interviews where he said that he wants Mick Conlan, Lee Wood, and Kiko Martinez. He'd fight either one of those guys next. I'd like to see it. I like seeing a guy who's confident like this. I suspect that out of the three names, Kiko Martinez might be the most realistic, because Lee Wood is talking about fighting the likes of Leo Santa Cruz and also Lara. And Mick Conlan, I imagine, is going to be trying to push on for world honors. Whereas Kiko Martinez seems to be happy to take on these British fighters, because overall he's got a pretty good track record, doesn't he, against British fighters, and he just took out Jordan Gill. So perhaps he'll fancy it against Nick Bull. But oftentimes when a pressure fighter, a short guy, comes up against somebody as short as himself, he can find it awkward because he's not used to fighting a guy who's at the same eye level. A pressure fighter will normally fight with his chin tucked on his chest, slightly hunched over, so they can duck underneath the punches of taller opponents. But when they're fighting somebody their own height, all of a sudden, shots which would normally whiz over their head are actually catching them in the face, because they're not coming down at them, they're coming directly towards them at eye level. Who would you guys pick in a fight between Nick Bull and Kiko Martinez right now? Obviously, Kiko Martinez has got the experience, and we know what he's done to several UK fighters, but he's also been beaten before. Josh Warrington, of course, beat him a couple of times, more convincingly the second time. Kid Galahad looked on the way to beating him before he got clipped. And I say that because he actually hurt Kiko Martinez early in that fight. Martinez didn't look good. He looked shaky, but he managed to find the punches to take Kid Galahad out, and they were very well set up. How would Nick Bull do against Kiko? Would he be able to land his big shots before Kiko? He certainly seems to believe so, which is why he's calling Kiko Martinez out. He's a very confident young man. But I would take any of these fights for Nick Bull right now as a fan. I'm not talking from the perspective of a manager. I'm not putting a manager's hat on when I say that. But from a fan perspective, I'd like to see him in there with Conlan, Wood, or Kiko Martinez. I suspect Martinez is most realistic. How do you think that fight would go? Let me know in the comments.